Dino Crisis 2 is an Wait, what? Yeah, that's right, an action-adventure game that was developed and published by Capcom, released in North America on the Sony Playstation on September 29th, the year 2000. Dino Crisis 2 is the second installment in the Dino Crisis franchise. Carrying on from the theme of the first game revolving around the Third Energy, more shenanigans are taking place as Edward City and its surroundings have seemingly disappeared. Regina, from the first game, returns and teams up primarily with Dylan Morton to travel through time in order to find survivors and data on the Third Energy from Edward City. That's the 1,000-foot overview, and from there your story unfolds. The biggest change here between the two games is the huge jump towards the action genre. While the first Dino Crisis relies on survival horror mechanics such as running away, conserving ammo, and immense puzzle solving, Dino Crisis 2 is essentially the inverse. Dino Crisis 2 encourages action and shootouts and turns the puzzles down from its first installment's 11 all the way down to around maybe 3 or 4. With more dinosaurs to kill, more weapons at your disposal, and an in-game currency known as Extinction Points, you are bound to be blowing away hundreds of dinos during your playthrough. Extinction Points can be obtained in each location prior to a door loading animation. You're able to earn these points by killing dinosaurs, stringing combo chains together, not taking damage in an area, and counterattacking. The more points, the more stuff you could buy at save terminals. Items available at the terminals include new weapons, upgrades, health packs, ammunition, and so forth. There are even a few quality of life upgrades that are purchasable, such as tools that cause Regina to no longer bleed, and so on. Another welcome addition to Dino Crisis 2 are the differing in-game modes. There are a few instances of on-rail shooting segments which are actually tense and a lot of fun. Coupled with that are a few other modes such as a tank getaway and a flare/missile launching segment. There's just so much variety in the gameplay that it really is a breath of fresh air. Throughout your playthrough you'll find metadata files that are robust and hidden dino files, which if all found grant the player unlimited ammunition weapons for subsequent playthroughs. Also upon game completion comes the Extra Crisis mode featuring the Dino Coliseum and the Dino Duel, which essentially are minigames. Dino Crisis 2 does a wonderful job of creating better scenery. On the whole, the graphics, movements, and locations are way more aesthetically pleasing than that of the overall drab first Dino Crisis. Running and gunning is rather fluid, and this game does not feel as tanky even though it does have similar controls to that of the first. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention along with your main weapon you have a sub-weapon, many of which unlock areas that are locked for the other character, such as Regina's stun gun or Dylan's machete. Or they may help assist in taking down enemies with certain weaknesses. The music and sound effects in Dino Crisis 2 are pretty good. I didn't find that many memorable tracks, however I loved the Giganotosaurus boss fight track. By the way, I don't know how to pronounce that name, so I apologize. You know, the dinosaur that's bigger than the T-Rex. Anyway, it was a banger. On the whole though, I do prefer the more spastic soundtrack of the first installment. On the whole, it's almost hard to compare both Dino Crisis and Dino Crisis 2 since the games differ so much, but that's the world in which we live. While I appreciate and like the first installment, my personal preference lies with Dino Crisis 2. I find the gameplay to be more addicting, the areas and enemies more varying, and most importantly for an idiot like myself, easier and less frequent puzzles. A minor gripe that I have with this game is the difficulty. On normal mode, the game feels very easy. And from what I hear, the hard mode could feel a bit too hard. Something to ponder. I give Dino Crisis 2 an 8 out of 10, and I highly recommend a playthrough of it if you haven't gotten to it already. Until next time.